Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Tech Explorer. I hope you all are doing well in this pandemic situation. Do take utmost care of yourself and your family. So by now, I think you got a clear picture of what is a chatbot and a decent understanding of Rasa from my previous videos. And if you haven't watched them, I will suggest you to go through them so that you can get an insight of a chatbot, and also especially the episode of Let's Learn Rasa Part 1, so that you can get a clear understanding about Rasa. Trust me, I will make every step very simple for you so that you can easily create a chatbot for yourself. Now, let's begin. So in this session, we are going to see how to generate the NLU data, all the key concepts of NLU model, how to write the conversation data, and then run your bot model. So let's see generating the NLU data. So what is NLU? NLU is natural language understanding. It is that part of Rasa open source that classifies the intent, extracts the entities from the input sentences, and does the response retrieval. So let's take an example of a sentence. Let's say, I'm looking for an Italian restaurant in the center of town. So what Rasa NLU will do, it will take the above sentence and then it will return a structured data like this. So in that structured data, you will have an intent. Say it'll give you the name of that intent. Here, for example, is search restaurant. And entities. Entities are nothing but the important pieces of information in that sentence. So here in this sentence, our important pieces of information are cuisine and location. Cuisine is Italian and location is center. Now let's see the various formats of the training data. So Rasa uses YML for all the training data, including NLU data, stories, and rules. So YML is a lightweight human-readable data representation language. It is primarily designed to make the format easy to read while including the complex features. Since YML is a superset of JSON, we can use to parse the JSON with the YML parser. Now, NLU data can also be given in .md format or .json format. MD are markdowns. They are just text files written in markdown syntax. And JSON, as you know, it's a JavaScript object notation. It's a syntax for storing and exchanging the data written with JavaScript object notation. So with YML format, the training data can be split into any number of files with different kinds of data. And each file, they contain one or more keywords with the corresponding training data like version, NLU, stories, rules, etc. We will see each one of them in the coming sections. Now this is an example of the Rasa training data. As I've said earlier, it contains keywords like version, which specifies the version. The NLU keyword, here you give the various examples of the intents. Intent specifies the name of the intent, examples of various intent statements. Similarly, you can have the stories, rules, sections, and so on. So now we come here in the key concept section of the Rasa NLU training data. So first we will start with intent. So what's an intent? The intent is the intention behind a user input sentence. Means what does the user wants to say? Rasa categorizes the various user messages based on the intent concept. So for example, if you see here, it's an example of intent in the MD format. If you see here, the name of the intent is greet, and these are the examples in the intent greet section. Hi, hello, hey there, hey. So these are the examples of the various ways the user can give input which will denote the intention behind his sentences and can be categorized as greet or greeting. So these are the examples that will be used by our model to learn the various types of greet sentences while training. Now we'll see what's an entity. Entity are the important pieces of information in a user message. Entities can be specified inside the question as follows, just like in this format. So here in this example, we see that intent is asking about a stationery shop when it opens. So we give the example like, does the stationery shop opens on Tuesday, weekday? Second example, does the stationery shop opens on Thursday, weekday? So in this sentences, weekday is the name of an entity and the value which the weekday can take is, for example, like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, they are given in square brackets. So it's very simple. First, you have to give the name of the intent, and then you have to specify the various examples the user can feed his sentences, and that can be categorized under the particular intents. And if you want to specify an entity, then you have to you can specify in the particular sentence also, just in the similar manner which I have told. Now let's see what is a synonym. They are a means of normalizing the training data by mapping the extracted entity to a value other than the literal text extracted. So for example, if breakfast word comes in a user input sentence, then it's very natural that the user may not write the breakfast word with its exact spelling. So he can write breakfast or brookfast, etc. So for such type of data, you can use a synonym. So synonym, here you will tell your bot model that even if the user writes breakfast or brookfast, it will map to the word breakfast only. Next, we can see the lookup tables. So they are simply a list of values for a single entity. So an entity can have multiple values. Instead of specifying all the values inside the intent examples, we can provide a lookup table for the particular entity. In this example, entity is a month, and the values it can take are November, December, and so on. So now let's see what is a regex. So regex are regular expressions, and they can be used to improve the intent classification and entity extraction along with regex featureizer and regex entity extractor components in the pipeline. So for example, let's be our intent about inform zip code. So I can give my example like my zip code is 12345 within square brackets and zip code, where zip code is my entity and the value my zip code is taking is 12345. So instead of that, I can also give a regex zip code which will specify that my zip code can take 5 digits from 0 to 9. So let's start by understanding each step towards creation of our chatbot. So the first thing which we will do is simply type the command Rasa init, and this will create a sample project within the current folder. You can see the structure of the sample Rasa project which this command creates. So you can see various files like nlu.yml, rules.yml, stories.yml. So we will see all these files one by one and what they specify. So now we come to the nlu.yml file. So this is basically the data file. It will have all the intents for training our bot. This file will contain the intent keyword, which will give the name of our intent, and the examples keyword that will tell us the various languages that the user can use for his intent. So previously I have shown you a NLU file which was in the .md format, and this is in the .yml format. Don't get confused, both are same, only the difference in their structures and formats. So whatever intent and examples of the intent you have to give to your bot during training should be specified in this file. Is it clear? It's very simple. Then we come to the rules.yml file. So when the bot detects an intent, the rules will specify the series of actions that it should happen if a certain condition is met. For example, we have specified the rule greet user, and we are telling our bot that if you identify the intent as greet, then you have to perform the action utter greet. Now the next two files which we will focus on are actions.py and domain.yml. Let's check out the actions.py file. So it's basically a simple Python file where you create your own custom actions. You have to create a child class of action class, and then you have to specify two functions. One is name and another is run. So function name, it will return the name of the action that the chatbot uses. And the function run, it will define the functionality that the chatbot has to perform when it calls this action. So here in this example, you can see you have created a class action hello world, which is a child class of action, and two functions are defined here. One is name, another is run. Name is simply returning the name of the action. Here it is action underscore hello underscore world, and run is saying what the action has to perform. Simply it will print a message, hello world. Now let's see what is in a domain.yml file. So this file contains all the information that is needed by the chatbot to perform its functions. In short, it contains all the domain knowledge needed by the chatbot. It will contain all the intents, all the entities, the custom messages under the response section that the bot has to utter under various circumstances, and the various custom actions which you want your bot to perform. Just make sure there are no duplicate response names. So in short, this domain.yml file will contain all the information that your bot needs. So this is the structure of domain.yml file. Here you can see the various intents which are used, the responses. Under the response section, you will see the various utter messages. And if you are using any of your custom actions, then you have to specify that action name also inside the action section. Finally, we come to the stories.yml file in data section. So this file will define the possible way the conversation can be carried out by the bot. The stories section will define the various ways a conversation flows between user and a bot. Just give a story name and the steps that you want your bot to follow to carry out a conversation with the user. Now let's see the other files that are used. The config.yml file. This file defines all the components and the policies used by your model to make NLU predictions based on user input. The language and the pipeline keys, they specify the components, and the policies key, they define the policies the model will use to predict the next actions. Then there are credentials.yml file. This file contains the credentials for the voice and the chat platforms which your bot will be using. And another file is there which is endpoints.yml. This file contains different endpoints your bot can use. So in these three files, you don't have to make so much of changes to create your own chatbot. Then we come to the main step, that is training your model. So to train your chatbot, you have to simply type the command Rasa train. The models file is created once you have trained your model, and then you can see inside the project folder. So running the chatbot. Finally, you can integrate your chatbot into your own website or Facebook Messenger, Telegram, Twilio, Cisco WebEx Teams, or you can connect your chatbot to any platform by implementing your own custom channel connector as a Python class. Now, we come to the last stage, that is running your chatbot. So before that, I want to specify that if you have used any actions in your chatbot, then please do remember to uncomment the action underscore endpoint section in endpoints.yml file. Make sure you are in Rasa folder, and this just open a terminal and type the command Rasa run actions. There are two ways to run Rasa, in the shell or on the local host. So if you want to run Rasa in the shell, then type Rasa shell. This will start your Rasa server and you will get to chat with your bot. And if you want to run Rasa on the local host, then type Rasa run. This will run Rasa on your local system and expose a REST endpoint at 5000 port in the local host. So finally, I'll just summarize the main points you should follow to create your own chatbot. So first step, you have to simply type the command Rasa init, and that will create a sample project in your current folder. Then second step, go to your nlu.yml file and then provide all the intent examples, the entities, synonyms or regex that will be used for training. Third step, if you want to use any action, then write an action child class and specify two functions, name and run. The name function will return the name of your action, and the run function will specify the functionality that your action has to perform. Then fourth step, in domain.yml, list out all the intents, entities, responses, actions that are used. Then fifth step, go to stories.yml file and specify the steps that you want your bot to follow to carry out a conversation. And once you are done, run your action server. So before running your action server, you train your model first, that is by the command Rasa train. After your model is trained, you run the action server by the command Rasa run actions, and then finally you run your model, that is by the command Rasa shell. So I hope by now you have got a clear picture and you are capable enough to create your own bot. So if you like this video and want to learn more about the new trending technologies, do subscribe my channel. I feel this video has helped out to some extent. If you have any queries, suggestions, do let me know through the commenting below. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.